Admiral Tom of the Galactic Survey Fleet stared at the holographic display with growing concern. Another ship had vanished, the 15th this year. He rubbed his elongated forehead, a nervous habit he had developed over his 300 years of service. "Play the last transmission again," he ordered. The screen flickered to life, showing Captain Smith of the exploration vessel Star Seeker making his final report. The human-looking alien appeared calm as he spoke. "This is routine survey mission 247. We are approaching the Sol system for standard observations of the primitive species on the third planet. All systems normal. Wait, there's something." The transmission cut off abruptly, just like all the others. In the vast meeting chamber of the Galactic Council, representatives from 50 advanced civilizations gathered for an emergency session. The chamber buzzed with worried conversations in hundreds of languages, all automatically translated through their neural interfaces. Admiral Tom stepped onto the central platform. The massive room fell silent. "Honored representatives," he began, his voice echoing through the chamber. "We face an unprecedented situation. In the past Earth year, 15 of our most advanced ships have vanished without trace near the Sol system." Gasps and murmurs filled the room. A tall, blue-skinned delegate stood up. "How is this possible? The humans are barely space-capable. They still use primitive chemical rockets." Admiral Tom nodded. "That's what makes this situation so puzzling. Our latest stealth ships, equipped with our best cloaking technology, simply disappear. No distress signals, no debris, nothing." He waved his hand, and a three-dimensional map of the Sol system appeared above the platform. Red dots marked the last known positions of the missing ships. "As you can see," he continued, "the disappearances form a pattern. All ships vanished while observing Earth from what we considered safe distances. None of our sensors detected any weapons or defense systems capable of this." Another delegate, this one with metallic skin that gleamed under the chamber's lights, spoke up. "Could it be natural phenomena? Space anomalies?" "We considered that," Admiral Tom replied. "But the pattern is too precise. Look at this time-lapse." The hologram shifted, showing the disappearances in sequence. The red dots blinked into existence and vanished in a clear circular pattern around Earth's orbit. "Whatever is happening, it's organized and deliberate," he concluded. The chamber erupted in heated debate. Some delegates demanded immediate military action. Others called for complete withdrawal from the sector. A few suggested attempting peaceful contact, though Earth wasn't supposed to be approached for another 50 years according to galactic law. Admiral Tom raised his hands for silence. "We need a careful, coordinated approach. I propose forming a joint task force, using our most advanced observation vessel, the Shadow Walker. It's equipped with technology from all our civilizations." The blue-skinned delegate spoke again. "And if this ship disappears too, then we'll know for certain that we've severely underestimated the humans," Admiral Tom replied grimly. "The Shadow Walker is practically invisible to any known detection system. If something can spot and capture it." He left the sentence unfinished. The council voted. The motion passed with an overwhelming majority. As the delegates filed out, Admiral Tom stayed behind, studying the hologram. Something about this situation bothered him deeply. In all his years of service, he'd never encountered a species that could advance so rapidly in secret. Either the humans were far more capable than anyone had imagined, or something else was at work. He zoomed in on Earth, watching the seemingly primitive spacecraft moving around the planet. Their space station was basic, their satellites numerous but simple. Yet somehow, they had managed to make 15 of the most advanced ships in the galaxy vanish without a trace. As he prepared to leave, Admiral Tom made a note in his personal log. "The humans appear primitive, but appearances can be deceiving. We may have awakened something we don't understand. May the stars help us if we've misjudged them." Little did he know, but the truth would prove far more surprising than anyone in the Galactic Council could have imagined. The Shadow Walker emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. Its hull, made from light-absorbing materials, made it virtually invisible against the backdrop of space. Inside, a carefully selected crew from 5 different species operated in complete silence. Captain Mike of the Special Task Force watched his instruments carefully. Unlike the previous missions, they were taking no chances. Every sensor was active, scanning for any unusual energy signatures or anomalies. "Status report," he whispered, though he knew sound couldn't travel in space. "All systems nominal," his first officer replied quietly. "Stealth systems at maximum efficiency. We're completely invisible to any known detection technology." Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Joe sat in his underground office at Space Defense Command, sipping his 3rd cup of coffee. Multiple screens surrounded him, each showing different sectors of Earth's orbit. Something caught his eye on Monitor 7. "Hey Bill, take a look at this," he called to his assistant. The background radiation in Sector 14 just changed slightly. Bill walked over, carrying his own coffee mug. "That's odd. None of our satellites reported anything." Commander Joe leaned forward, adjusting some settings. "That's because whatever it is, it's trying very hard not to be seen. But you can't hide from physics." He smiled, remembering his old professor's words. Back on the Shadow Walker, Captain Mike and his crew continued their careful approach. They had already passed the orbit of Mars without incident. "Sir," the sensor operator called out, "I'm detecting some unusual objects in Earth orbit. They don't match any of our records." Captain Mike moved to the sensor station. The screen showed hundreds of small objects moving in precise patterns around Earth. They were so small that previous missions hadn't bothered to scan them. "Magnify one of them," he ordered. The image zoomed in on a box-shaped object about the size of a small car. It appeared to be made from primitive Earth metals, but something about its movement seemed purposeful. On Earth, Commander Joe was now fully alert. "Bill, called in the night shift. Something's definitely out there." "But sir, it's just a slight radiation anomaly. Could be anything." Commander Joe shook his head. "No, this is different. Look at how it's moving. That's not natural drift. Whatever it is, it's trying to observe us without being noticed." He pressed a button on his console. Time to let our friends see what they came to find. Aboard the Shadow Walker, alarms suddenly blared. Multiple objects changing course. The sensor operator shouted. They're moving to surround us." Captain Mike watched in disbelief as the small Earth objects began forming a sphere around his ship, keeping their distance, but clearly aware of the Shadow Walker's presence. "Impossible," he muttered. "They shouldn't be able to detect us." "Sir, should we retreat?" his first officer asked nervously. Captain Mike considered his options. They had come to solve a mystery, and now they were in the middle of one. "No, hold position. Let's see what they do." In his office, Commander Joe watched the scene unfold with satisfaction. "Maintaining optimal observation distance," he noted, "just like we trained them." Bill looked confused. "Sir, what exactly are we looking at?" "The answer to a very old problem, Bill," Commander Joe replied cryptically. "And apparently, we're not the only ones interested in solving it." The Shadow Walker remained frozen in space, surrounded by Earth's mysterious devices. Its crew watched anxiously as more of the small objects joined the formation. Captain Mike made a decision. "Send a tight beam transmission to command. Tell them we found something, but it's not what anyone expected. The humans aren't primitive at all. They're just solving problems in ways we never imagined." As he finished speaking, one of the Earth devices broke formation and moved closer for a better look. The investigation was about to take an unexpected turn, and neither the observers nor the observed were fully prepared for what would happen next. The tension aboard the Shadow Walker was thick enough to cut with a laser. Captain Mike watched as one of Earth's mysterious devices moved closer to his ship, its metallic surface reflecting the distant sunlight. "Energy scan complete, sir," the science officer reported. "These devices, they're giving off a very unusual signature. It's like they're constantly searching for something. Suddenly, everyone on the bridge froze. Through the main viewport, they witnessed another alien ship, one that had been observing from a different position, begin to shimmer and fade. Recording everything, Captain Mike ordered, his voice urgent. Don't miss a second of this. The unknown ship, belonging to the Blue Star Empire, seemed to be caught in some kind of invisible net. Small Earth devices surrounded it, moving in perfect coordination. Then, in a matter of seconds, the ship simply vanished. Down in his command center, Commander Joe allowed himself a small smile. And that's number 16, he muttered, making a note in his log. Bill, make sure the recycling unit got everything this time. Bill checked his readings. Yes, sir. The drones processed 100% of the material. No waste left behind, just like you designed them. On the Shadow Walker, panic was beginning to spread. Captain, those devices, they're changing formation again. The sensor officer shouted. They're moving toward us. Captain Mike stood up, his expression calm despite the fear he felt. Send the emergency signal. The council needs to know what we've discovered, even if we don't make it back. The small Earth devices moved with unexpected speed, their simple appearance masking their true capabilities. They formed a complex geometric pattern around the Shadow Walker, similar to the one they'd seen moments before. Sir, the first officer said quietly, I think I understand now. These aren't weapons, they're cleanup drones. Captain Mike's eyes widened with realization. Of course, the humans aren't attacking us at all. They're just keeping their orbit clean, and our stealth ships look like debris to their systems. In the Earth Command Center, Commander Joe was reviewing the data from the latest capture when an alert flashed on his screen. The radiation anomaly he'd been tracking was emitting a powerful signal into deep space. Well, he said, leaning back in his chair. Looks like someone finally figured it out. Bill, initiate contact protocol. Bill nearly spilled his coffee. Sir, we're going to talk to them. They've seen enough to understand what we're doing. Might as well be polite about it. Commander Joe pressed a series of buttons on his console. Besides, I've been wanting to ask them why they keep leaving their ships lying around our orbit. Aboard the Shadow Walker, the crew was preparing for the worst when a simple radio message, broadcast on all frequencies, reached their ship. To the vessel currently hiding in Earth orbit, we apologize for any inconvenience our cleaning system may have caused. Would you prefer to dock at our station, or should we send a shuttle? Coffee's decent up there, if you drink that sort of thing. The bridge crew looked at each other in stunned silence. Captain Mike was the first to laugh. All this time, he said, shaking his head in amazement, we thought they were primitive because they were still cleaning up their space junk. But that's exactly what made them more advanced than us. The small devices maintained their position around the Shadow Walker, but now their purpose was clear. They weren't weapons or defense systems. They were simply very efficient janitors, programmed to keep Earth's orbit clean of debris. And thanks to various civilizations' attempts at perfect stealth technology, their ships had become invisible to everything except these diligent space cleaners, which saw them as nothing more than oversized pieces of junk to be recycled. As Captain Mike prepared to respond to the Earth transmission, he couldn't help but appreciate the irony. In trying to secretly observe humanity, the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had accidentally discovered that sometimes the simplest solution was the most effective one. The real first contact was about to begin, and it would start with a conversation about garbage collection. The meeting room aboard the International Space Station was an interesting sight. On one side sat Commander Joe and Bill, representing Earth. On the other side sat Captain Mike and his first officer, their alien features now clearly visible after they disabled their appearance-altering technology. So, Commander Joe began, sliding a cup of coffee across the table. You're telling me that all those ships we've been recycling were actually advanced alien surveillance vessels. Captain Mike picked up the cup carefully with his four-fingered hand. And you're telling me that our missing ships were simply collected as space trash. We had to do something, Commander Joe explained, pulling up a holographic display showing Earth's orbit. Thousands of dots represented tracked pieces of debris. By 2020, we had so much junk up here that launching anything became like playing dodgeball in a minefield. Bill activated another display, showing one of their cleaning drones. The solution was pretty simple, really. We built machines that could find and recycle anything that wasn't actively broadcasting Earth registration codes. The first officer, who had been quietly analyzing the data, suddenly looked up. But our ships were broadcasting codes. Stealth codes, Commander Joe corrected with a smile. Designed to be undetectable. Well, congratulations. They were so undetectable that our drones marked them as inactive debris. Captain Mike nearly choked on his coffee. Do you mean to tell me that the most advanced cloaking technology in the galaxy was defeated by garbage collectors? Pretty much, Bill confirmed. The drones are programmed to be thorough. If it's in our orbit and doesn't identify itself as active Earth technology, it gets recycled. Meanwhile, in the observation module, the rest of the alien crew watched Earth rotate below them. They had begun to notice something their previous scans had missed: the incredible efficiency of Earth's orbital space. Unlike other civilizations, which simply pushed debris into higher orbits, humans had found a way to clean up after themselves. Back in the meeting room, Commander Joe was showing them the recycling statistics. We've processed over 500,000 pieces of space debris in the last 5 years. Your ships actually helped us improve our recycling efficiency. The materials you use are fascinating. Captain Mike looked horrified. You mean you've been turning our most advanced warships into what exactly? Oh, all sorts of things, Bill said enthusiastically. That last ship of yours. Parts of it are now serving as radiation shielding for our Mars missions. The energy core made an excellent power source for a new satellite network. The aliens sat in stunned silence. Their most advanced technology had been casually repurposed by humans who didn't even realize what they were recycling. What I don't understand, Commander Joe said, is why you didn't just say hello. We've been broadcasting welcome messages into space for decades. We have protocols, Captain Mike explained weakly. Species need to reach certain technological benchmarks before contact is permitted. Like cleaning up their own orbit, Bill suggested with a grin. Before Captain Mike could respond, an alert sounded from Earth. Commander Joe checked his tablet and burst out laughing. What's so funny? The first officer asked. The drones just caught another stealth ship, Commander Joe explained. Don't worry. I've temporarily disabled the recycling protocols, but you might want to send a message to your friends telling them it's safe to come out now. Captain Mike sighed and reached for the communicator. This would be an interesting report to the Galactic Council. How could he explain that humanity's solution to space debris had accidentally created the most effective defense system in known space? As he composed his message, he couldn't help but smile. The humans had solved two problems at once: keeping their orbit clean and preventing unwanted surveillance, without even realizing it. Perhaps they were more ready for galactic civilization than anyone had thought. Commander Joe watched the alien captain with amusement. Sometimes the simplest solutions were the best ones, even if they did accidentally turn a few alien spaceships into spare parts along the way. The Galactic Council's emergency session was in chaos. Hundreds of delegates shouted over each other as the Shadow Walkers report played on the giant screens. Admiral Tom stood silently, watching the recordings of Earth's cleaning drones at work. "This is unacceptable," shouted the blue-skinned delegate. "Those primitives turned our ships into spare parts." Another delegate, looking like a tall praying mantis, raised all 4 of its arms. "They didn't even know what they were doing. That makes it worse." Admiral Tom finally stepped forward to the central platform. The chamber gradually fell silent. "Fellow delegates," he began, "I've invited representatives from Earth to address the Council directly. They're waiting outside." The chamber erupted again, but Admiral Tom raised his hand. "They came voluntarily, and they brought something interesting to show us. The massive doors slid open. Commander Joe walked in, followed by Bill pushing a hovering platform. On it sat one of Earth's cleaning drones, its simple metallic surface reflecting the chamber's lights. "Hello, everyone," Commander Joe said cheerfully. "Nice place you have here. Very clean. I approve." Several delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. This human didn't seem impressed or intimidated by their advanced technology. "You destroyed 15 of our most advanced ships," accused the blue-skinned delegate. Commander Joe shook his head. "Recycled, not destroyed. There's a difference, and technically, you abandoned those ships in our orbit without proper registration or identification." "Abandoned," sputtered another delegate. "They were stealth observation vessels, which made them look exactly like space debris," Bill added helpfully. "Our drones are programmed to clean up anything that isn't actively identifying itself as functional technology." Commander Joe stepped closer to the central platform. "Let me show you something interesting." He pressed a button on his tablet. The drone on the platform came to life. It floated up and began scanning the chamber. Suddenly, it stopped and turned toward one of the delegates. "That's impossible." The delegate shrieked as their personal cloaking device failed. Their true form, a mass of shifting crystals, became visible to everyone. "No weapons, no attack systems," Commander Joe explained. "Just very, very good at finding things that are trying not to be found. It's hard to hide from something that's looking for hidden objects." Admiral Tom walked over to examine the drone. "And you use these just for cleaning?" "Originally," Commander Joe replied. "But they turned out to be good at other things too, like finding ships that don't want to be found." The mantis-like delegate leaned forward. "How much would it cost to buy this technology?" Commander Joe looked surprised. "Buy it? We're not selling it, but we're happy to share it." The chamber went completely silent. "Share it?" Admiral Tom asked carefully. "Sure," Commander Joe shrugged. "Space debris is everybody's problem, right? Besides, we've already recycled enough of your ships to know you've got some amazing materials we could use. How about a trade? We help you clean up your space lanes. You help us improve our technology." Bill activated a hologram showing the efficiency statistics of their recycling program. Many delegates leaned forward, suddenly very interested. "Just think about it," Commander Joe continued. "Clean orbits around every world. No more losing ships to collision with ancient satellites or rocket parts. And if someone tries to sneak around in a cloaked ship," he grinned, "well, they might find themselves being recycled into something more useful." Admiral Tom looked at the council members. One by one, they began to nod. "Perhaps," Admiral Tom said slowly, "we have something to learn from Earth after all." "Great." Commander Joe clapped his hands together. "Now, who wants to see what we built out of that last ship we recycled?" The coffee machine in our space station has never worked better. As laughter rippled through the chamber, even the angry delegates began to relax. Sometimes the best way to handle a confrontation was with honesty, humor, and a really good cup of recycled coffee. The partnership between Earth and the galactic community was about to begin, all thanks to a simple cleaning drone that didn't know the difference between space junk and a stealth warship. 3 months after the Galactic Council meeting, Commander Joe found himself sitting in a room full of Earth's top scientists and engineers. They were examining the technical specifications of various alien technologies, traded in exchange for Earth's cleaning drone system. "I still can't believe it," Dr. Ray, the head engineer, said while studying a piece of alien metal. "We built these drones just to clean up space junk, and now they're revolutionizing galactic transportation." Commander Joe watched as Bill demonstrated their latest drone model to a group of alien technicians. The new version, built with advanced materials from their galactic friends, worked 5 times faster than the original. "The best part," Bill explained to his audience, "is that it doesn't just collect debris. It recycles it on the spot. No waste, no leftovers." In another corner of the lab, Admiral Tom stood with several Earth officials, discussing the terms of their technology exchange program. Your cleaning system has already cleared the orbits of 3 major trading worlds, Admiral Tom reported. Ship losses due to collision have dropped to 0. The Council is extremely impressed. Commander Joe walked over to join them. And how's the new stealth detection protocol working out? Admiral Tom's face twitched in what humans had learned was his species' version of a smile. Very effectively. Would you believe 3 pirate groups tried to use cloaking technology near the Centauri trading routes last week? Let me guess, Commander Joe grinned. They got recycled into public park benches, Admiral Tom confirmed. Very comfortable ones, I'm told. The room's attention shifted as Dr. Ray made an exciting discovery. These alien alloys, he announced, holding up a glowing sample. They're perfect for our drone's processing units. We could increase efficiency by 300%. Bill quickly typed some calculations into his tablet. With these improvements, we could clean up the entire solar system in less than a year. Commander Joe noticed some of the alien technicians whispering among themselves. Something wrong? He asked. One of them stepped forward. We've been analyzing your original drone design. It's remarkable in its simplicity. Our civilizations always tried to make things more complex, more advanced. But we just wanted to clean up our mess. Commander Joe shrugged. Sometimes the simple solution is the best one. Admiral Tom joined the conversation. That's what the Council finds most interesting. Your species solved a problem that has plagued spacefaring civilizations for millennia, and you did it while trying to solve a completely different problem. Dr. Ray looked up from his work. What do you mean? Well, Admiral Tom explained, most civilizations focused on developing better stealth technology to avoid detection. You focused on finding things that didn't want to be found, just so you could clean them up. You weren't trying to develop a defense system at all. And that's exactly why it worked so well, Commander Joe concluded. The drones don't care if something is a piece of old satellite or a top-secret stealth ship. If it's not supposed to be there, it gets recycled. The room fell silent as everyone considered this. Finally, Bill spoke up. So, what's next? The Council mentioned something about expanding the program. Admiral Tom nodded. Yes. We'd like to establish cleaning stations in every major system. Earth would oversee the operation, of course. Your experience is invaluable. Commander Joe looked around the room, at humans and aliens working together, sharing knowledge and technology, all because some space garbage collectors accidentally recycled a few spy ships. You know what this means, don't you? He said to Bill. What's that, sir? We're going to need a lot more coffee. The room erupted in laughter. Even the aliens had learned to appreciate Earth's favorite beverage, thanks to the coffee machine built from their recycled ship parts. As the negotiations continued, Commander Joe couldn't help but feel proud. Earth had found its place in the galactic community, not through advanced weapons or faster-than-light travel, but by being good custodians of their own space. Sometimes, keeping things clean could change the universe in unexpected ways. 1 year after Earth's accidental first contact, the solar system looked very different. Cleaning stations orbited every planet, their drones efficiently collecting and processing space debris. But more notably, authorized alien ships now openly visited Earth's orbit, their transponders broadcasting clear identification signals. Commander Joe stood at the window of the new International Space Cooperation Center, watching a massive alien cargo ship dock with perfect precision. Next to him, Bill was updating the daily recycling reports on his tablet. Final numbers are in, Bill announced. The Galactic Cleanup Program has processed over 2 million pieces of debris in the last month alone. That's a new record. Commander Joe nodded, sipping his coffee, now made in a machine built from parts of 5 different alien civilizations. And how many accidentally recycled stealth ships? Only 2 this month, Bill grinned. Word's getting around that sneaking near Earth isn't worth losing your ship over. Admiral Tom materialized behind them, his species' natural teleportation ability no longer startling the humans. The Council sent their latest report, he said, holding up a holographic display. Space-related accidents across known space have dropped by 95%. Not bad for a bunch of primitives who didn't even know aliens existed last year, Commander Joe chuckled. The three of them walked to the main control room, where humans and aliens worked side by side, coordinating the growing fleet of cleaning drones. On the main screen, a map showed thousands of green dots moving efficiently through space, each representing a drone on its endless cleanup mission. "Did you see the latest design proposals?" Bill asked, pulling up another hologram. "The Centauri engineers think they can adapt our recycling technology for planetary surface cleaning. Imagine self-repairing cities." Commander Joe watched as a young human technician explained Earth's coffee brewing process to a fascinated group of alien visitors. Who would have thought that recycled spy ships would make the best coffee machines in the galaxy? "You know what's really funny?" he said to Admiral Tom. "A year ago, half the galaxy was spying on us because they thought we were too primitive for contact. Now they're all studying our technology." Admiral Tom's skin rippled with amusement. The Council has revised many of its policies since meeting Earth. Sometimes the simplest species have the most to teach. "Simple." Bill pretended to be offended. "We just revolutionized galactic waste management." Their conversation was interrupted by an alert from the main screen. One of the cleaning drones had detected something unusual near Jupiter. "What is it this time?" Commander Joe asked, walking over to the console. The operator, a purple-skinned alien named Bob, he had chosen an Earth name for simplicity, pulled up the scan results. "It appears to be an ancient alien artifact, sir, possibly millions of years old." Commander Joe looked at Admiral Tom. "I don't suppose this belongs to any of your civilizations." The Admiral shook his head. "This might be something new, or very, very old." "Well," Commander Joe smiled, "I guess we'll add archaeology to our cleaning drone's resume. Have a team collected for study, and make sure they broadcast their transponder codes clearly. I'd hate to have them recycled by accident." As the room buzzed with excitement over the new discovery, Bill looked at his commander. "Did you ever imagine this would happen when we first built those drones?" Commander Joe watched as the cleaning drone carefully retrieved the mysterious artifact, its advanced sensors, a mix of human ingenuity and alien technology, already analyzing the ancient object. "Nope," he replied. "We just wanted to clean up our orbit. Instead, we cleaned up the galaxy, made first contact, revolutionized space travel, and now we're discovering ancient alien artifacts. All because our garbage collectors were a little too efficient." Admiral Tom placed one of his four hands on Commander Joe's shoulder. "Perhaps that's the greatest lesson Earth has taught us. Sometimes the most important discoveries come not from looking for them, but from simply trying to keep your home clean." As the artifact was carefully brought to the station for study, Commander Joe couldn't help but wonder what other discoveries awaited them in the vastness of space. After all, they had a lot more cleaning to do. And somewhere in the galaxy, another stealth ship pilot was about to learn why it's important to always broadcast your ID clearly when visiting Earth's solar system.